All right, guys, welcome back. So in this video, we are going to go ahead and transfer all of our spending data that we did in the worksheet, survival, thrival, all those expenses, and we're going to add them into the money dashboard. We're doing this so we can actually keep track of things in a real-time, up-to-date way. So if you decide you want to review this on a weekly basis, maybe to start, or if you're okay doing it monthly, whatever your cadence is, you can decide what you think you need. But this will keep track of it, it will learn it, and it will be able to give you a quick snapshot and say, hey, I'm on track or I'm way off. So we're going to go ahead to the budget tab right here. Now I've transferred over a lot of the survival expenses over here, as you can see there. And so I'm going to go ahead and keep going. Now, the way you add a budget is you click right here, add a budget. I think the first or the next item on my list is personal care items right there, $50. So I'm going to start typing in personal care. Nothing came up for me here. And when I add, nothing happens. It's because that's not a category that's available. So you can sort through at all the categories and subcategories that they have and decide, but let's say I don't see anything that really meets the bill, or I just want to name it my own thing. Well, what you do is this. Come up here to the top right to spending settings, and you're going to select, I'll say health and fitness, and then right down here you can add whatever subcategory you want to. Add, boom, there it is, done. Okay, so now I'm going to start typing in, let's refresh this really quick. I'm going to start typing in personal care, and there it is, boom, $50, added. And the last thing I need to add is health insurance. So if you start typing in health and insurance, there we go, $300 a month. Okay, perfect. So I am at my budget of $32.65. Let's see how I did. $32.65. Perfect. Okay. So you would go ahead and do that, and then you would add the thrival expenses and say, okay, I want to add a budget for eating out and clothes and vacations and stuff like that. So then you would add that. You would add your giving, and you can categorize it as charity, or you can add in your specific subcategories again if you want to define it differently. And then also any transfers to investment accounts you can keep track of. If it goes into the 401k and it just comes out of your payroll initially, that's going to be hard to track because it doesn't actually like land into your checking account. So you just kind of have to keep track of that maybe separately. But any other accounts where it goes first to your checking and then out from there, you can certainly keep track of that in the money dashboard. Okay. And then you can see it is categorizing my transactions already for this month and throwing it in there automatically. As I go through and continue to train it, like I showed in a previous video, you can train it and say, hey, you need to go and be in this category. Every time this expense comes from Chevron, it's going to be gas and fuel. So then you don't have a whole lot of cleanup to do every time you check it. It's just categorized the way you want it to. It learns your habits. You can tell it what you want it to do, and then it'll just start doing it on its own. So that is the way to go. Now, other thing I wanted to show you really quick in this video is that you can do any date range that you'd like, okay? So obviously there's this month, you can go to last month, and as you see, I didn't create a budget for last month, so that's fine. But you can do this in overview as well. And it'll actually, so you can go back to any previous month and view your budget and see how you're trending. And you can also come to overview and look at your overall spending. So you can say, hey, how much have I spent this year? Boom, there it is. Some of these obviously categories are wrong because I haven't gone through the trouble of trying to categorize everything, but you get the idea. I can go to last year and see all of my last year income, all of my last year expenses. Again, these are pretty much, I just filled this in with a ton of data so it could have something to pull from, but you get the idea. So you can see all of last year, we actually budgeted for X amount, but we spent, 68,000 instead of 55. Okay. Where did that go? Where were we over? And you can kind of get a view of long-term trends. Okay. So my wife and I personally, when we set this up, we tracked it for a little bit until we felt comfortable with what we were doing. And then we check it every so often now, just to make sure we're on track. Sometimes there's an extra big expense and we just kind of account for it and say, okay, that's what this is. We'll take money from this area to make sure it's covered. But really, we don't look at it, and we certainly don't track dollar by dollar. We just do a quick check, look at our budget and say, hey, let's see how we're doing. Yeah, okay, we're over a little bit in this one and that one. We're under. So overall, looks pretty good. Nothing out of the ordinary. So you'll probably get into a rhythm like that, but if you're not there yet, you probably want to keep track of it on a more regular basis. So anyway, go ahead and transfer all of the details from here into that budget. And that way you have every dollar allocated somewhere, right? Whether it's expenses, giving, or investment, you want that in. If you want to track it, right, you have to have your accounts linked. So your checking account, your credit cards, and your investment accounts, your IRAs, stuff like that. You want to add those in so you can make those transfers and it'll show up in the budget. And yeah. And then the only other thing I would mention is sometimes on here, it can be a little bit confusing with credit cards because the credit cards are the ones that actually do the spending. And so you see here, so it kind of shows up twice. It's a little bit confusing, called double accounting. So you see right here that a credit card payment was made, right? So whatever we spend, maybe we pay it off every month, right, at the due date. So we're not carrying a balance on the credit card. We just spend on our credit cards. So in this one, $781.70 was the credit card payment. So it shows up as green because you're actually paying off a liability. So it's like a credit to you. But if you look right up here, Chase credit card auto pay, there's the negative $781.70. So in reality, these two transactions cancel each other out. Okay, a positive and a negative, and they just cancel each other out. So it's a net zero. So it tracks all of your spending, but then the credit card payment itself, it just kind of takes care of itself as long as they are in the same category. Okay, so this is a credit card payment plus $781.70. And then here is the actual amount that came out of my checking account, $781.70. That's a credit card payment. So if they're in the same category, then they will cancel each other out and be good. So just a quick note on that. Other than that, get that all taken care of, upload all your details, and we'll see you in the next video.
And there you go. Your money dashboard is ready to roll.